Crochet Knit Loved by Jo. I'm Jo and this is podcast number 19. And that is Ellie saying hello to you all also. She's been quiet for the last hour and a half, but clearly now has decided, she's recording, so I'm going to bark. Anyway, welcome back to those of you long-suffering subscribers, and hello to any new ones, and thank you to all the subscribers. My goodness, it went crazy the last couple of weeks. I cannot believe how many new subscribers I've had. You're scattered all over the world, which is just amazing. I cannot believe that many people would actually want to watch my little old podcast where I just ramble about yarn and knitting and crochet. But thank you so much. I appreciate every single one of you. Had loads of lovely comments. I do read every single comment and will respond back also. What Jake was really chuffed to bits with the fact I've got these subscribers. He's a massive supporter of podcast. That's my, those of you who don't know, that's my 14-year-old son. Obviously thinks his mum's cool now. I don't know if cool is a word he would compare me to, but it's all used in the same sentence. The only downside for him is he's got a lot more comments to read to pick winners, but he did it. I'll give him his due. If there gets too many comments, I might have to use a random number generator or something. At the moment he's still doing it. So yeah, thank you so much. It's been wonderful. I could waffle on about that for ages, but anyway, should we talk about some projects? What am I wearing? I'm actually wearing something I've made. In the corner here you'll see Gloria is wearing the flax beanie by Tin Can Knits. This jumper is the flax by Tin Can Knits. I have shown it before. I've also shown you how I was an absolute idiot and knitted it wrong. So this was, it's a really easy to follow pattern. It is not the pattern or the designer, it is this numpty. So it's supposed to be a strip of pearl, the rest knit, which makes it a really easy jumper. But no, this twit here decided, I'll just do loads of pearls for no reason. Who does that? So I did mess it up, proper messed it up. The sleeve shouldn't have this much pearl. I actually quite like it. And I decided, because of the amount of time I'd put into it, and the jumper cost me about £15-ish, because I used the Stylecraft, it's like a tweedy yarn, big 400-gram balls of yarn. I used one and a bit. So a really cheap jumper, and it's been really hard wearing. It's got lots of stretch in it, which I love. I don't like tight clothes. And it's been a joy to wear. And I mean, I use Stylecraft a lot in my blankets. It really does wash really well. Literally wash it, put it on the line, great. So I'd highly recommend this yarn. I'm going to make myself another one in the future, but I'm actually going to read the pattern and not think I know it all. But yes, this is the Tin Can Knits Flax. They have brought out a new easy to knit range. Can't remember the name of the range, but it has the jumpers, the round neck. So I think I'll be getting that at some point. But yeah, really great comfy jumper. Love this jumper. We've got a bit of sun here today. I live on the south coast in the UK, and we've had a fair bit of wind and rain lately. It's been really blustery. Quite windy today. So what I've done, because the sun's out, is I've grabbed the crochet blankets that we use downstairs that Jake and Carla are always under, and the dog's always making beds out of, which is great. I don't think she appreciates how many hours of work I put into blankets, but they've all gone in the washing machine. I'm going to hang them out and they hopefully will dry and be freshened up. Most of my blankets are in Stylecraft, and I think New Fashion yarn as well, and they just wash really great all-round blankets. So what, talking of blankets, leading into that segue, didn't I? My granny square blanket, ooh, look at that. It's 6 rows wide, and I'm going to do about 8 rows down, like an 8x6. Don't you dare. Ellie has snuck upstairs and he's eyeing up another blanket I've got there, because if you put a crochet blanket out, even this one that I'm working on, she'll actually make a bed out of it, which is really annoying when you haven't even finished it. But yeah, that's those of you with dogs or cats or any kind of pets that like your makes, She is a big fan of the crochet. So I'm hoping I'm going to have enough yarn to do this, because I'm literally using yarn stash. And I'm loving the granny square. It's making me so happy. So that's how far I've got. I've been working on that in the background. If you can't crochet, this is a perfect way. This is what I first learned to make when I learned to crochet 10 years ago. About that. Might be a bit longer. I started off doing a granny square. And I've shown that blanket in one of my early episodes where I couldn't stop. I just kept going round and round and round, because I got the hang of doing the granny square, but actually couldn't get my brain to cope with the changing the colours and cutting the yarn. So I did a granny square, and then I got brave and changed the colours. But because I wasn't very good at starting the blanket off initially, I just kept going round and round. The blanket's ridiculous. It's so big. This is, yeah, what I'm working on. This is a 7 round crochet square, and it's the join as you go, which is the silver. I absolutely love this blanket. So yeah, I'm just happily working away on that. It's great for scrappy projects. Obviously crochet does use more yarn than knitting, but if you've got a load of scrap yarn, I've seen Crazy Sock Lady has been crocheting blankets just out of all of her scraps sock yarn, like using 2 strands and all sorts of random colours, which is really good. If you knit a lot of socks, that's a really good way of having almost like a memory blanket of everything that you've kind of made. So that's probably another idea for my bits that I end up left over with double knit yarn. So what have I, let me show. Okay, so I'm going to let you into a little secret. I've actually already recorded this podcast, but I stopped and started it so many times and had lots of vacant expressions and pauses, and I've actually wrote notes, but still the brain seems to be a little tired today. And I do prefer to record it in one go so it sort of flows, rather than otherwise I have to do loads of editing. Fingers crossed this is going to be recorded in one. So I showed this skein of yarn last time. Every time. I'll just ignore the dog. This is self-striping double knit yarn. This is by the Little Grey Girl. It's a little grey, yeah, Little Grey Girl. And I got this from the recent festival that I went to in the UK. And very talented to make self-striping yarn. I've got self-striping yarn in 4-ply, but I didn't have any in DK. And once I'd shown these on the podcast last time, the actual skein of yarn, I'm going to knit them. And they fly. They are so quick. So I've used a grey here. Now the grey is like a silvery grey. And I had enough to do cuffs, heel and toe. I believe it was 25 gram from memory. And look at those stripes. When I finished the first sock, I had a little bit of yellow at the top, because you can see I've started it. I cut that small piece off and then knitted so that they were matchy. You don't have to have matching socks, but these I did want to match. So they're lovely. So that's DK sock yarn in my stripes. I also, I had this so tidy, I've proper trashed it. So I'm just going to quickly show one of mine. So this is Winnie's yarn that I've been working on. This was the colourway I played around with, pinks and greens. I love these colours. And then a little mini to go with it. I have put a picture of this on Instagram, but it wasn't as long. The only thing is with 4-ply socks, they take ages, which is fine. I mean, I've done all the fiddly bits. I love this colourway. I think I'm going to have to use this colourway on DK sock yarn. Really like that. So all I've got to do with this now, I've done all the decreases. I just need to carry on down to so far to fit my foot and then do the toe. But they do take longer. I use a long tail cast on, and then I don't knit into the front of the stitch when I'm doing, so this is a knit 2, purl 2. I go into the back of the stitch because I find it makes much neater strips. I'm trying to think what the technical word was then. It's not very technical. And in true Jo style, yes, there are ends. Ends everywhere. So some people really like sewing ends in. It's so boring. So yeah, I do need to get better at sew as I go, but I obviously haven't. So yeah, that's where I've got to with that sock. So I will finish that. I've only done the one sock with that. That's obviously on 4-ply. Oops. And that's in my So Yarnylicious little sock bag, which I showed last time. So back to DK socks. If you can't, so when I started knitting, my aim was purely to knit socks. That's the only reason I wanted to knit. Taught myself during lockdown. Felt I could crochet actually helped me understand more about knitting. Some people it's the other way around. But my first pair of socks was 4-ply and they just took so long and they were so fiddly. So if you want to learn to knit socks, knit a worsted pair or a chunky pair of socks you can wear at home, or bed socks, or double knit, because it's really helped me understand the principle of the sock and the different sections, and I can knit these pretty quick now. This colourway. So Bird Street yarns. I showed this as a skein last time. Obviously decided to knit one up. Haven't knitted the other one, but will do. Rock Me Amadeus. It's Amadeus, isn't it? There she goes again with her pronunciation. DK sock yarn. There isn't much. There are DK sock yarn dyers out there. There isn't as much. A lot more is the 4-ply sock. I personally am loving DK socks. Highly recommend it. Been asked before what the pattern is. It's the Crazy Sock Lady DK Vanilla Socks. DK Weights Vanilla Socks. It's a free pattern. Go and check it out on Ravelry. She also does the free pattern for the 4-ply. So the ones that I've just shown you in the Winnie's sock yarn, that is her free pattern as well. It's a really good starter for 10 to get you used to socks. There's so many amazing patterns out there, very intricate patterns. I just love doing vanillas at the minute. I'm going to get a bit braver and do different patterns, but at the minute, this is where my heart is with the DK. It's been brilliant because I've been knitting DK socks and then I've done some on the blanket. I've been flitting between knitting and crochet, which has been great. So yeah, that's that one. Go and check Bird Street yarns. Brilliant yarns as well. So shall we talk winners? So as a result of all the craziness that went on with the last podcast, I had said I would do a giveaway for 6 balls of Stylecraft DK yarn, which is 100% acrylic, and that is what I'm using for this blanket. Super squishy, it washes really well, and lasts. I mean, I've got crochet blankets that are 8-9 years old and they're still in excellent condition and have really weathered, being used a lot and washed a lot. So I've got a winner. Well, I've actually got 2 winners, because as a result of the podcast craziness last time, I put on my Instagram that I was going to pick 2 winners. So Jake has gone through all the comments. There was quite a few, and he's picked 2 winners. So if you've put a colours that you would pick, I'll try and match up to that. If not, it will just be a coordinating set of 6 balls of Stylecraft yarn. There's 2 winners, so there's 2 sets of this yarn. So the 2 winners, right, winner number 1 of the first set is Christine Newell 2679. Congratulations. I'm going to give you my email address after the announcement, just in case those of you, because I've seen several of you have said you haven't actually got Instagram. I assume because I use it, everybody uses it. So congratulations, Christine. The next winner is Maureen Manning 1244. Congratulations to you as well. You're going to get 6 balls of Stylecraft yarn. I've put both of your YouTube names below, so hopefully you'll spot them. You can either message me on Instagram, or you can email me at crochetKnitLoveByJo@outlook.com. I've put that at the bottom as well, so you can see that. Email me there. I hadn't appreciated that not everybody uses Instagram. So congratulations, both of you. Well done. I've got 2 prizes for this podcast as well. Look at me bragging, 2 prizes. So I'm going to, because it was so well received with the 6 balls of yarn, I'm going to give away another 6 balls of DK yarn. Might be Stylecraft, or it might be another one. That will be the surprise. And I'm going to give that away to one lucky subscriber. Make sure you subscribe to win. And the other prize, so I showed on the last podcast this beautiful blanket that I've been lucky enough to pattern test, called the Love Struck, which is a beautiful baby blanket, although I am still toying with this being turned into a massive blanket. The designer HG Crochet Designs has actually is bringing a pattern out, which I'm pretty sure she's shared over on her page, where it's going to be this heart in a bigger blanket, which will be great. You can win a copy of the pattern for this blanket. The designer has kindly donated a free pattern to the podcast. Thank you so much for donating. I really appreciate it. It's really thoughtful. I appreciate all the time and effort that goes into designing patterns. So to give one away to my little old podcast is really appreciated, and I'm sure my subscribers will really appreciate that. So you've got the opportunity to win either 6 balls of yarn or a copy of the pattern for this beautiful heart granny square blanket. So to win, or be in the chance of winning, comment below on whether you're a crochet or knitter, or both. I do both. And how long you've been doing the craft for. I mean, you may not do either and you want to learn, so you can put that as well. I'm not gonna not let you enter if you don't crochet or knit. But yeah, put what your craft is, whether you do lots of different crafts, and how long you've been doing it for. Comment below, and then Jake will pick 2 prizes. One to win the 6 balls of yarn, or to win this lovely free pattern for this Love Struck baby blanket. This pattern is out now. Go and check out HG Crochet Designs. She has them on her website as well. If you just Google the HG Crochet Designs. I don't know why I'm struggling to say that. It's not difficult. But yeah, go and check her out. She does amazing things with granny squares, and it's actually her fault that I've ended up doing this blanket, because I got the serious granny square bug after making this. So yeah, they're the 2 prizes. Don't forget, if you've been announced as the winners, to Instagram or email me. And thank you for taking part. It's lovely. I like giving away stuff. It's great. So what else? Winnie's yarn. After the last podcast, I just had this urge, like you do, to dye some yarn. So last weekend I was thinking I want to do some, I can often, when I dye yarn, I can do like 3, 4, 5 different colourways and get a bit carried away with all the colours. But I was very strict with myself and decided I'm just going to do one colourway, just for what I was doing at that time. So I'm going to insert my inspiration picture, which doesn't happen all the time. Sometimes the colours literally come in my head. I'd got some daffodils on my table and randomly had my shopping bag there, because I just emptied the shopping. That had daffodils on it. And so I thought, I'm going to do a daffodil colourway, like you do. So I have my colourway's Daffodil Love. Look at that, it's even got a name. And even better, I've actually got a sock knitted in it. Now, what I'm planning on doing is each month I'm going to do a different colourway on DK sock yarn, because there's a lot of people out there that are put off from knitting socks, and I think DK socks are a perfect way to learn, which I've obviously mentioned. They grow quicker, you get satisfaction from them a lot quicker, because you can finish them. Brilliant Christmas knits. I mean, I actually wear mine with my boots and they fit. They're not, I kind of thought they'd be really bulky, but they're not. The Gotham ones I showed last week, not last week, last podcast, Jake has worn a lot. I have to prise them off his feet to wash them, because he says they're just really warm and comfortable. So even my 14-year-old teenager likes knitted socks. So he should get some more. You only get socks off me if you're knit worthy. That's one thing, because they're a little fiddly, but they take a little bit of time. Anyway, I digress. My colourway is called Daffodil Love. So I obviously used the inspiration picture. I played around with colours. I also did a sparkle. See, look, I've been playing with this one already since. This is DK Sparkle. So this consists of merino and nylon. So it's the same consistency or make or material, whatever you want to call it, fibre, as 4-ply sock yarns, but it's in double knit. So they'll have the give that normal socks would as well. So the sock that I have knitted in it is this. Mentioned I'm really into teal at the minute, so I used a 20-gram mini in teal just for the top, and then the rest, particularly if you're going to learn how to knit socks and want to go try the double knit, perfect to set off with the individual colour here. And then if you do the rest in the same colour, you haven't got, it can get, I mean, I do separate heels and toes, but I've just done it as one because hopefully that will enable anyone who wants to have this colourway and knit this sock. It's not difficult because you haven't got to join any yarn. You're going to use the same yarn throughout, and there is more than enough in a 100-gram skein of the DK sock yarn and this to make your pair of socks. So that's how the colourway looks. You'll see from, let's see if I can get the one, I did a slightly different shade of, because you know daffodils are different shades. That's more of a teal if you didn't want as bright to orange, and I believe that one is what this is knitted out of, but you can get a brighter sock. I was torn, I thought, dog, I actually would like to have a pair of both. This is obviously the bright daffodil. But then I also wanted a sparkle pair, and I thought this is ridiculous. I'm going to end up with 3 pairs of socks in the same colourway. So I've only done this slightly darker Daffodil Love with the teal, and then you've got the sparkle as well. Now you've got an option. You can have the 20-gram, which is that one, or I did drop it on the floor, which I've just done now. Oh, another one. Oh, it's all falling on the floor. I did a slightly muted teal, which you'll see is just slightly lighter. I've dropped the same. How can I keep dropping the same thing? Oh, she's a pro, isn't she? So I've done a fuchsia, which I really wanted to use. I really was torn with which one to use. So you could have fuchsia and that, or you could have, oh, would you believe it? Drop the green's flown away. Or you could, I mean, that emerald green is nice. You can have the brighter green with it. It's personal choice, just that pop of colour. I mean, you don't have to have the colour, you can just do it all. I just really wanted a separate cuff. So if you buy the skein of Daffodil Love, it's on eBay currently, Winnie's yarn is. I'm going to load these onto here afterwards. You buy this skein of yarn, 100 grams, and then just put in the comments, because I'm actually going to throw the ball, the 20 grams. So 20 grams will do the 2 cuffs, and then the other 100 gram. So you basically get that to make that. 2 of them obviously. And I will throw in whether you want the green, just put green, pink or teal, and I'll add the rolled up. It won't come in a skein, it will come up in the 20 gram ball, saves your winding it, to make those socks. I really love these socks. It's cheerful, and what possessed me, daffodils, just, I don't know, it inspired me. scene that I could see with the daffodils. So yeah, that's Daffodil Love. And each month I'm going to do a different colourway, and I'll have a sock knitted in the sample. I overwhelm myself because I've got so many different colours and ideas in my head that I'll just end up dying too much, and it's just too much. I think I've said too much, haven't I? But yeah, the plan is I'll do a different colourway each month with a sock. You don't have to knit socks. I do a sock because obviously they're nice to look at. You could do wrist warmer, cowl, gloves, hat, but it just gives you an idea of how it looks knitted up, because often, I mean, you can buy, I've had it before, I bought a skein of yarn and it's been nothing like I thought it would be, but I think that's fairly safe to say that's pretty spot on with the colourway. I think I'm obviously biased because it's my yarn, but I genuinely, these are happy socks. Hopefully you'll like them. But yeah, you just need to go over. I did have the website, it's just become too much to manage, so it's now on eBay. Winnie's Yarn on eBay, and just specify which colour you want. Let's go with that. So yeah, I hope you like that. I've really enjoyed doing that. I think that's going to help me to dye at a much calmer level. That's Ellie now telling me it's time to wrap up because clearly she's bored. Sorry about the dog barking. It's pretty standard on these podcasts. Just want to say again, thank you so much for watching, subscribing. You're wonderful, all of you, and I hope you all get to have some time for crafting. Thank you for coming along with this, my little podcast journey. Any suggestions on what you'd like to see? If I mean, you might like this format. I'm fairly consistent with the bits that I cover. I don't want it to be too regimental. I want it where someone can watch it and leave it and come back to it, or watch a bit of it, whatever you choose. Don't forget to subscribe, because you have literally had me smiling with big smiles because of all the new subscribers. Thank you again. And I'm sounding really gushy now, aren't I? So I'm going to go. Have a wonderful couple of weeks. I should be back in 2 weeks' time with a podcast. Hopefully my blanket will be finished. Yay. And I'll have some more prizes to give away as well. So you take care, all of you, and I will see you really soon. Bye.